You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Deanie. We have another special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, family members, or even share it on social media right now and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say love what you do, and it will be great. Love the world, and it will be beautiful. Love this day, and it will bring fulfillment. And if you love yourself, you'll grow stronger. Love others, and they'll blossom. Love to learn, and you'll become wise. Love a challenge, and you'll be skilled. So if you love the moments, they'll propel you forward. Love the truth, and you'll understand. Make a difference, and you'll be admired. Love to be alive, and your life will be full. Love to work, and your work will bring true value. To play, and you'll experience true enjoyment. If you're going to do it, make sure you love it and see how much better it makes you. You know, no one achieves greatness by doing, what they detest. If you're going to be it, you're going to live it and love it. Think of how love can be. Think of how love can motivate you and inspire you like nothing else. When mind and when the subconscious, your mind, your heart, when they connect, man, almost anything that you want to do can happen for you. Tap into that power with every passing moment. It's your life, so love it and make it great. Take that from me, Coach Deanie. That is my word, and word is bond.
Have you struggled budgeting your finances? Don't worry, you're not alone. HumbledBudget.com, that's HumbledBudget.com, is the help and resource you've been searching for. HumbledBudget.com is a personal finance and educational website with a great variety of topics when it comes to budgeting, taxes, investing, and the popular topic of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. HumbledBudget.com has a goal, and that's to help you reach your financial dreams, no matter what your goals are when it comes to finances. It doesn't matter where you start, where you come from, or where you are right now. HumbledBudget.com can help. What are you waiting for? Take that first step to the financial life you've dreamed of and go to HumbledBudget.com. That's HumbledBudget. HumbledBudget.com.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Deanie. Our interviews are designed to go beyond music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. The ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, listeners, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have the privilege of exploring the literary world of Stephen W. Sweigart, a seasoned author known for his thought-provoking poetry and unique insights. And in this interview, we'll uncover the inspiration behind his latest work. It's called From Home 2022, and gain a glimpse into his remarkable journey as a writer, a poet, and a thinker. So get ready for an engaging conversation that will leave you with a deeper appreciation for the power of words and the beauty of introspection. All right, Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hello. Hello, this is Stephen.
How are you?
Fine. Yes, this is Stephen-w-sweigart. Yes. Thank you very, very much for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm excited that you are here. Your last name is Sweigart. Is that correct?
Yes, it's German. It's Pennsylvania Dutch. So you pronounce the second letter, not the first.
Got you.
Wow.
Sweigart. All right. Well, Stephen, as an audiophile, as I heard that you are, what is your relationship with music like?
Well, I studied music at. I got a little tired of rock in the late '60s and folk music, and I decided to try classical music. So I took music history 2 semesters at the University of Pennsylvania, where I was studying psychiatry before I went into English. And that's how I got interested in it. And I continually listen to classical music, and I have a very good stereo, which I've had for many years. And I have a big collection of LPs, and also of CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays. And that's what I do all the time, even when I'm writing and when I'm reading. I do that. I listen.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you have a listening room?
Yeah, I have a listen. I did that. I made it in 2008. I had a small house. I put an addition out in 2008. I also play classical piano, even though I stopped for 20 years. I studied at Temple and Rutgers University, but I started up when I retired in 2014 or 15, playing again every day.
Wow, that's impressive. Wow. All right, so From Home 2022 is a collection of short poems that encompasses a wide range of thoughts and reflections. Can you share what inspired you to compile these poems into one cohesive work?
Well, I decided it's a little different from most other things I did, especially the ones that just came out recently. Exist Mankind just came out, and that's about scientific creation, which I learned from Xavier and University of Penn for my studies in science, and also mythology, which I learned from a professor at Temple University about mythology, and that just came out. But From Home is really about my thoughts about things in the world, and I thought I would do that rather than write about something like Afghan War, which I wrote about, which is about the war, and then I wrote Prometheus the Fire, Bring the Myth, and a few myths I've written about, and Jason. I decided to write my own thoughts and things, and it also has about in a couple of my books, like The Martyrdom, I have about girls young ladies I met in Slovakia and Czechia. And there I met young ladies, and I also wrote in this book about ladies I met in the early 1990s in Bulgaria. I met them, and that's in there also.
Nice. And as an experienced poet, how does the process of writing short poems differ from composing longer pieces?
It's very different. I have short poems at the beginning of Prometheus the Firebringer, which is about composer's life, but nothing about my own thoughts like this. It was a little different, and I compiled them into making a longer poem. But I'm usually write long poems. I don't write short poems anymore. I did when I started, as in the beginning of Jason. but I don't anymore, and I don't know why I don't, but I just like to write long poems. I'm writing one now. I'm on page 41. I'm starting page 41, and I'm still working on the title, but it's about the Congress of the United States, biographies of congressmen and senators of the United States, but it's written in the style of the martyrdom, technique of the martyrdom, and Jason. And then at the bottom it states their name in literal English. I've put it on Twitter, the titles of the congressmen and senators, but I haven't. I don't put the poem on because I'll lose my rights. You know, they would get part of the rights to it. So I keep that for when I'm going to publish it. It's going to be 50 pages.
Wow. Okay. And also from Home 2022, you explore various themes that relates to life and the world. Could you highlight a particular poem or theme that resonates deeply with you, and kind of even share the story behind it?
Well, when I was young, I studied Marxist literature, and I don't think you can call me a Marxist or a communist, but I believe in those values, and because I just believe in it. And in Ukraine, they banned in 2015 communism, and it's not banned in Russia. And it's also, they tried to go for elections in 2019, and they wouldn't permit them. So this makes me wonder. What are we doing? I'm kind of neutral in the war, and I point out that there was some demonstrations in the Czech Republic about the war. And they wanted to be neutral because of the problems of the inflation and things like that. And I think we're really making a big mistake. It's just throwing money at them, and I put that in the poem. I'm more neutral in the war. I don't think Putin should be destroying things. I don't think either side should be destroying things.
I agree with you as well, definitely. So you also pursued psychology and English literature. How have these disciplines influenced your writing style and the themes you choose to explore in your poetry?
Well, in Exist Mankind, I decided to go back to science, and I traced the history of the creation of the earth through science. How it starts out with Friedman's questioning about the universe, and it ends with the Webb telescope. It does the whole history. Then I have biological creation, which I learned from Xavier University by taking zoology, and then I had a good professor at. Even though I studied Greek mythology on my own and Roman mythology on my own, I had a good professor who taught me about mythology, that it's essential to human life, and so I have world mythology in there, world mythology creation. So that they come together. But I think this is how I think what I write. I write through the subconscious. I think and do subconscious. Subconscious is so important to me in writing. I first start thinking about it, and then I just do my regular job at work when I used to work, or now that I do things, and then I sit down and write. So I think the subconscious is very important in writing, and that's what I learned from studying psychology.
Absolutely. You have a particular work that I'm very curious about and I'm intrigued about. It's called The Curse of Jesus of Nazareth, and it explores an intriguing subject matter. Could you provide some insights into the inspiration behind this book and what readers can expect from it?
Well, I've since I've been young, I've really. My father was a non-believer, but he wasn't as I am an atheist. He and my mother was a believer in Catholic, so I went to Catholic school all those years. I was treated well generally, and I went to Xavier the first year. They sent me to Xavier. And I didn't accept the religion, so but they taught. There was very good teaching there. They taught good, but I left and I went to the University of Pennsylvania. Now I've noticed over the years that there's many problems with what has happened with the early Christians. They with Constantinople. And everything. I point out over the years what they did. Like they first got Hus, who was before was one of the first Reformation people, and they threw him in a river and killed him and murdered him. They did that to Bruno. He showed that the world. He tried to show that the world wasn't flat, and they burned him to stake. Marlowe was taken in by the Anglicans for being an atheist. He had a warrant out for him. He was killed right after that, and many of these things took place. And they looted the temples. Constantinople looted all the Roman temples, and the Roman religion, the early Roman religion, was not as Augustine of Hippo thought it was. It was much different. It was more toward the nature, which is something similar to the Native Americans. Later, it became different. I write about that in From Home, about Roman religions. But I just think that Jesus was not a learned person, and they destroyed Roman literature, which I have in Jesus of Nazareth, the whole Roman literature, the history of it, and they destroyed all that. And that I don't like, and I point that out, the misuses of the followers of Jesus in the book.
Yeah, man, we could probably create a whole another podcast on that subject.
It's still happening today with the millionaire evangelists and stuff.
Yeah,
and the Pope who has an empire of properties and stuff like this, and that would never take place from Jesus' teachings, if you know it. I want to stop in a minute, but I really believe in John Milton's belief that the temptations in the deserts was very important. Where Jesus rejected the temptations of Satan in the deserts, and that really has to do something to do with socialism and communism, where they reject the riches and things like that, and they live a moderate life. But that Milton wrote that in his second epic, Paradise Regained, which is never talked about. They don't only talk about Paradise Lost. That is a very important poem, Paradise Regained. And I believe in that very much.
I have to check that one out. Thank you. All right. So you have 11 books under your belt. What advice would you have for aspiring writers who are looking to embark on their own creative journey?
Well, I would try to write start out with short poems, but I would try to write longer poems too. No, I don't think very many people. I don't know. I'm not aware of what's going on today, but I think for the last century or so, people have, and even in history, people have, even in Rome, they've written short poems. And but there's epic poems, and that's what I deal with in The Creatures of Prometheus. It starts out with the myth of Creatures of Prometheus, which is only 4 pages. Then I have the lives of the epic poems, some of the epic poets, and some of the epic dramatists. And that is something I would try to do, because if I was a woman, because there's never really been, except maybe Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which I should have had in that book. I regret that I didn't put her in that book. from her one long poem. I would try to write a longer poem and try to, to be the first really epic woman poem, which is a task I would hope someone would do today. Some woman would do today, instead of just writing short poems and try to write longer poems.
Absolutely. All right. So you have a prolific career that spans over 6 decades. How have you seen your writing evolve and mature over time?
Well, now I have more time. I stopped writing for 20 years because I was taking care of my parents. They died. They passed away at 93 and 95, and I had to go at lunchtime to them as part of the evening, and I only had a little bit of the weekend, so I didn't have much time to write or read. And I worked full time during that time, and so I stopped for 20 years, and I stopped the piano also. But I wasn't able. It took me like 5 years to write a poem. And now I also have written 2 computer poems, which I'm hoping to start learning how to translate BASIC now. I just discovered, I was told by my brother who does computer works that I should use Visual Basic from Microsoft instead of BASIC to translate the old BASIC, which is discontinued. And that's why I can't put the poems on ebook or YouTube. Because that's what they are. They're like the Antichrist in color, but they're in English like the Antichrist is mostly in English. And I'm hoping to do that. But I'm sorry to stumble now. But I have more time now. I finished 3 books at once. I typed up the Triumph of Death, and I typed up Roma, my student poem that I wrote when I was with Temple in Rome, and they just came out. So I have actually 12 books now, actually 12, and I republished the 2 books, The Curse of Prometheus and The Martyrdom, the 5 parts, into the complete martyrdom. Those books just came out. They're just online now.
Oh wow! Congratulations on the new release, for sure. Where are those? Do you have the links where our listeners can check out the book?
Yeah, well, my website's being updated. From the Home's on the website now. It's just got on there. Exists Mankind should shortly be on there. It's stephen-w-sweigart.com, just like one of my books. But there's no spaces and small letters. And it's SWEIGART, and it's PH Stephen. And it's Stephen W. My middle name is Walter, but I just use the W for that. And also, if you go in Twitter to my profile, it has that link. And it has where you can buy the books at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Libris, Wordery in England, because I just did a podcast with someone in England. And also Bookshop does it, which deals with the small bookstores, the independent bookstores. So it sells that into Twitter. I also promote on Twitter. I promote my books on Twitter. And I'm on Facebook a little, but mostly on Twitter I promote my books. I just did today, Exists Mankind. I promoted it.
All right. And we'll have those links in the description of this episode. So it'll be easy for our listeners to connect and find those books. Yeah, it was truly an honor having you on today, Stephen. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Take care and have a great night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/only1media group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com. And that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer. We are genre-free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Denny, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.